So you know how car manufacturers are just making shit? You gotta wonder what the best engine is for every number of cylinders. Starting off with one cylinder, the Predator 212cc. This thing is an icon. If you've ever ridden a mini bike, a go-kart, or a pressure washer, you're probably familiar with the Predator 212. With some mods, these engines can get you going like 70 miles an hour on a mini bike. 2 cylinders! 2-cylinder engines are cool because they can rev so high. Like Honda made this engine that could rev up to 13,000 RPM. I imagine the vibrations alone would be terrifying. These 2-cylinder engines aren't very common in cars, but BMW's bubble car came with a 2-cylinder option. Sounds like shit. The 3-cylinder GR Corolla engine is insane. 300 stock. That's like 100 horsepower per cylinder. They also sound really cool too. Engines with an uneven number of cylinders sound so good. I don't know why. This car is high-key a dream daily of mine. I know this is more about the GR Corolla than the engine, but this car comes in a 6-speed manual with all-wheel drive, and it's that 3-cylinder turbo engine. W Toyota once again. For the 4 bangers, the K20. Honda dropping the K20 was like Kanye dropping Graduation. In my opinion, this is peak 4-cylinder experience. Cheap, reliable, and fast. Bang! Also, it's pretty small, which means you can drop it in any car. The K20 came stock in cars like the Honda Civic Type R and the Integra Type R. Unfortunately, I don't usually love 4-cylinder exhaust notes. I think EJs sound okay sometimes, but I don't know. 4 bangers just usually sound pretty ass. I'm sure there's a scientific reason for like the vibrations or some bullshit. I don't know. It just sounds kind of bad. For the 5-cylinder engines, I can't tell you how badly I wanted to give this one to Volvo. It's gonna have to go to Audi though. As much as I despise Audi, purely fueled by a love for BMW, they can make a pretty badass 5-cylinder engine. They've been making 5-cylinder engines since the 80s, and they've been doing it well. They put these engines in quite a few cars, but people would recognize them mostly from the older Quattros or maybe the RS3. 400 horsepower stock coming from 5 cylinders is pretty cool. As I said earlier, the engines with an uneven number of cylinders sound so badass, and 5 cylinders just sounds that much cooler than 3. I think 5 cylinders is the best sounding number of cylinders you can have, maybe besides 10. Let me know what you think though, I'm undecided. 6 cylinders. For 6 cylinders, I want to make a few categories. 6 is a pretty universal number of cylinders to have because there's inline 6, flat 6, and V6. So I want to talk about the best of each of those categories. Porsche obviously makes the best flat 6. The GT2 RS is crazy.
700 horsepower pushed out of 6 cylinders. 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds.
I feel like this might be the best of the best as far as 6-cylinder engines, but let me get into the rest so you can decide. As I've preached before, BMW is the king of inline 6. The S54 from the E46 M3 is going to be my shout for the best inline 6. The last high-revving, naturally aspirated M3 engine from BMW. 333 horsepower with a really smooth power curve is awesome, first of all, and it's reliable. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? I'd hate to end it there for inline 6s though. I'm gonna give the best turbo inline 6 to the 2JZ. I'm sorry to all the RB lovers, but the 2J is just a better boosted inline 6. As for V6s, this one might be a bit of a surprise. Fuck the GTR V6. Fuck the EcoBoost, of course. Guys, the V6 winner goes to the Honda J35. Not only does this engine make pretty good stock power, but it's super reliable too.
But before we get into the next one, I'd like to give a shout out to the Gassy Discord server. We give announcements on our next videos and host events that could put you in a video. Gassy himself is pretty active in the Discord server as well, so if you want to know if your BMW i3 is cool, it is, and you don't have to join the Discord server, please. Also, Gassy is trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so subscribe and tell your friends.
7 cylinders. Nothing! 8 cylinders. 8 cylinders might be the most badass number of cylinders you can have. Having a V8 engine just means you like cheap, dumb power. Chevy, Ford, and Chrysler all make the best American V8s that we all know and love. And I think the small block might have been the most influential engine out of all of the V8s. But none of these sound nearly as good as the Ferrari 136 or the BMW S65. Europeans always know how to make things sound great. I'll give Lexus the crown for luxury. The 1UZ FE was pretty freaking sweet. And I also want to give a shout to the BMW S65 for being the most stupidly engineered one, but 9 cylinders. These are just like the 7-cylinder engines, but better in the plane world. If you like planes, you'll love 9 cylinders.
El número 10.
The Lexus LFA sounds so fucking good. Definitely the V10 of all time. It's a 4.8 liter naturally aspirated V10 developed partially by Yamaha's music division. These bitches make pianos, so you know it's gonna sound really good. They basically tune the sound like they would tune one of their pianos. It has a very deep aggressive idle and a screaming top end. It performs well and all that, but this one wins best V10 because it just sounds so good. It's probably the best sounding car on this list, or in the world. 11 cylinders.
Fuck you!
12 cylinders. The V12 is Kodak Black's favorite engine. The Europeans knew exactly what they were doing. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Mercedes, they all made insanely good V12s. But I want to talk about a lesser known gem. The BMW, of course, S70. They built a V12 specifically for the McLaren F1, which made 627 horsepower in the 90s. And it was just an awesome engine overall. The Ferrari Colombo V12 was also insane. There's just too many V12s to talk about. They're all awesome. They sound cool as shit and they perform like 2 inline 6s next to each other. They're just so awesome. 13, 14, and 15 cylinders.
Fuck you again.
Actually, I don't know why a V14 doesn't exist, because it's like you could have 7 on each side and that would be kind of cool, but it just isn't real. 16 cylinders. So here we are, 16 whole fucking explosions happening in the engine. You want to know how that sounds?
Bang, 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 bang.
16 explosions happening in the engine. More cylinders, more power, right? Let me tell you about the Cadillac V16 from the 1930s. This thing was extremely luxurious at the time and made a very solid
165 horsepower.
That 3-cylinder engine that I mentioned earlier made 300 horsepower. So 13 more cylinders and it loses 140 horsepower? What the hell, Cadillac? And for the next 16-cylinder engine, I have to talk about the Bugatti. Way back when Bugatti dropped the W16 in their Bugatti Veyron, which is an 8-liter quad-turbo engine making 1,001 horsepower. I don't think anybody should own this amount of horsepower stock, but whatever, fuck it, Bugatti, let's do it. And then they stepped it up a notch, and the Chiron and Super Sport came with an 8-liter quad-turbo V16, W16 I mean.
That makes up to 1,600 horsepower.
1,600 horsepower. 100 horsepower per cylinder in a W16. That's the fastest street legal car ever. It's crazy.